Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Today in your orientation, we will cover COVID-19 precautions training, daily visitation procedures, and at the end, we'll go over your general visitor acknowledgement form and have you sign it. So up first, COVID-19 precautions training. There will be 3 areas of study. The first is infection prevention and control training. The second is hand washing training. And the third, social distancing training. Infection prevention and control training. You may be wondering, what are we doing at Summer Vista for COVID-19 prevention? So one of the first things that we've implemented is screening everyone entering our community. Every person who comes in will be wearing appropriate PPE. They will have their temperature scanned upon arrival, and they will fill out the visitor screening questionnaire. Next, we're increasing sanitation efforts to keep everything squeaky clean. We're using appropriate personal protective equipment per the CDC guidelines. We're implementing social distancing. That means 6 feet apart in every direction at all times. We're monitoring residents' vital signs for early detection of COVID symptoms. Every new resident that comes to live at Summer Vista is being placed on a 14-day quarantine after they have had their initial COVID testing. This is to ensure that no symptoms arise when they first get here and they're outside of that window. That way we know that they are safe to start socially distancing and coming into our community to do activities with the rest of our residents. So now you may be wondering, what are we doing at Summer Vista for COVID-19 control in the event that we had a positive case? What we are doing is in the event of a presumed or confirmed COVID-19 case, in accordance with the new order, visitation would be suspended and we would follow the guidelines for communities that have COVID positive cases. We ask that you please take a few minutes to read the full description of the prevention and control protocols as outlined in your orientation packet. Feel free to ask any questions before signing the training acknowledgement located on the last page in this section of the packet. Now we're moving on to hand washing training. Washing hands can keep us all healthy and prevent the spread of disease from person to person. Germs can be spread when you touch your face, eat or prepare food with unwashed hands, touch contaminated surface, blow your nose, cough or sneeze into hands, and then touch others or common surfaces. There are some key times that you should wash your hands: before, during, and after preparing food, before eating, before and after caring for the sick, before and after treating a wound, after using the toilet, after changing soiled briefs, after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing, after touching an animal, animal feed, or animal waste, or after taking out the dirty garbage. During COVID, there are a few times that you would especially want to wash your hands. After you've been in a public place and touched an item or surface that has been touched by other people, such as door handles, gas pumps, shopping carts, register kiosks, pretty much anything, you need to wash your hands, especially before touching your face. The following video demonstrates the proper technique for effective hand washing.
Keeping your hands clean is the most important way to avoid illness and spreading germs to food and to other people you work with. A variety of diseases are spread by not correctly washing hands with soap and clean water. Do you follow the 6 steps of effective hand washing? Step 1. Wet your hands thoroughly under warm running water and squirt liquid soap onto your palm. Always use antibacterial soap. Step 2. Rub your hands together palm to palm to make a lather. Step 3. Rub the palm of one hand along the back of the other and along the fingers. Repeat with the other hand. Step 4. Put your palms together with fingers interlocked and rub in between each of the fingers thoroughly. Step 5. Rub around your thumbs on each hand and then rub the fingertips of each hand against your palms. Step 6. Rinse off the soap with clean water and dry your hands thoroughly on a disposable towel. Turn off the tap with the towel and then throw the towel away. Never use shared towels.
We know that sometimes water and soap is not available to wash our hands. So in those cases, we would need to use hand sanitizer. There are a few things to note about hand sanitizers. Sanitizers do not eliminate all germs, not as effective as proper hand washing, and they might not remove all harsh chemicals such as pesticides. There is a right and a wrong way to apply hand sanitizer, so let's make sure that we're all doing it the same way. We apply the manufacturer recommended amount of gel onto our hands. We rub our hands together and we continue for 20 seconds or until the gel is completely absorbed. Please take a few minutes to read the full description of the hand washing protocol as outlined in your orientation packet. Feel free to ask any questions before signing the training acknowledgement located on the last page in this section of the packet. Up next is social distancing training. Social distancing is key in preventing COVID-19 because it is transmitted primarily through respiratory droplets produced when either a symptomatic or asymptomatic individual coughs or sneezes. At times, these droplets can scatter up to 5 feet from its origin and land on people and objects nearby. So you may be asking, Holly, do you have some tips for social distancing, and what do you know I do? Number 1, know before you go. If you're making a plan to go to a certain store or to an area that you haven't been to in a while, make sure that you know all the rules for going into that establishment. Make sure that you know the rules and you follow the rules. Number 2, prepare for transportation. The ideal thing that we would do here is take our own private car and only travel with those that live in the same household as us. We know that sometimes that is not possible. So if you are on a plane or a train, or if you're using a car sharing service, please try to sit as far away as you can from anyone else that may be riding with you. Try skipping a seat or sitting in the far back seat where you're as far away from anyone else as you can, and try to remain 6 feet away. Number 3, limit contact when running errands. Now, we all know that you need groceries and items from the store. The best possible solution for this would be to have those items delivered to your home via Amazon or some other source. If that's not possible, then I would suggest using the curbside option, which means that you allow the sales associate to put that in the trunk of your car to limit exposure to them. Now, if that's not an option for you, make sure that when you're going into a store that you're keeping your social distancing protocols, such as keeping 6 feet away from each other and following signs that are located either on the floor or in your side of vision to show you which way to walk to avoid the most traffic. Number 4, choose safe social activities. Here at the community, we've been utilizing FaceTime, Skype, and Zoom. That way our residents can see their family members. We'll be continuing this. Number 5, stay distance while being active. I know that we've all put on the COVID-15, or at least I have. So being active is going to be really important to keep up our immune system to make sure that we don't get COVID. But while we're doing that, it's probably best that we continue with our social distancing. Go on a bike ride, go on a walk alone, or a hike outside rather than going to a gym. This is the safest option. Please remember that social distancing can only be effective if you wear your mask, wash your hands, and avoid touching your face. Please take a few minutes to read the full description of the social distancing protocol as outlined in your orientation packet. Feel free to ask any questions before signing the training acknowledgement located on the last page in this section of the packet. Up next is our daily visitation procedures. When you come to visit your loved one, there are a few protocols that we will request that you follow to keep your loved one safe. Step number 1, you will present your visitation card to the Summer Vista employee who is checking you in. This card will have your name, your visitor status, and the room number of the resident that is your loved one. Number 2, you'll have your temperature taken by a Summer Vista employee who's checking you in. Number 3, fill out the visitor questionnaire. This questionnaire will have your appointment time and date. It would also ask your name, the resident that you're visiting, and it will have a list of targeted questions to make sure that you are safe to come into our community. Number 4, you're going to use this form to sign in. It's called the Visitor Sign In and Sign Out Register. You're going to put your time of arrival, your name, the resident you're visiting, and indicate whether you have or have not met the screening requirements. And on your way out, you're going to enter your time of departure. Step number 5, we wear our mask at all times. It doesn't matter if you're meeting outdoors or indoors, our mask must be worn at all times. Step number 6, enjoy your socially distanced visitation with your loved one. Step number 7, at the end of your scheduled time, please remember to sign out. Last but certainly not least is our general visitor acknowledgement. So if you will, please pull out of your orientation packet the General Visitor Agreement and read over it thoroughly. These are the guidelines that have been set up by the governor to make you eligible to come in under the General Visitor Guidelines. At the bottom of the page, please print your name, sign your name, and date it for today's date.
And they've turned around. Who would have thought they'd lead you